Hi, welcome back to the show if you're new here. My name is Shelby and I'm your host of My Perspective Pod. If you have never listened to the show, I highly recommend going back to other episodes. You don't have to listen in any sort of order. I pretty much start off the episodes with my segments, so giving you guys some updates on my life, my obsessions and dislikes, what books I'm reading, and then I go into the episode. A little bit about me, if you're new here, is I live in Orange County. I'm 21 years old, just recently post-grad. I'm currently getting my health coaching license in integrative nutrition. And so a lot of my podcast has to do with wellness, nutrition, fitness, mental health, relationships, being your best self, everything under the wellness and personal development lens. I have a lot of exciting things coming up for the pod in this new year, so I'm very excited for that. Another thing, I want to plug the pod, so you can follow on Instagram, My Perspective Pod, and then on TikTok, it's Shelb Wright. I'm also on YouTube, I'm pretty sure it's just Shelby Wright, and I'm also on Pinterest. So my other social medias, I let you know when an episode is releasing, I ask you guys questions, I answer my DMs. If you have any recommendations for what you want to listen to, let me know. But let's just get into the segment. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to remain the best you going into the new year. I think the new year is one of my favorite times. Not only because I love Christmas, but I love a fresh start when everyone is looking back on the year and analyzing how they did, feeling accomplished, and then also going into the new year, you can make a new action board, you can make new goals for yourself. I just feel like it's a clean slate every January, but I feel that kind of every month as well and every week. New Year is always so exciting to me, but let's get into today's segments before the episode. First things first is I recently went to Big Bear this weekend. Max and I were supposed to go to New York, but we settled on Big Bear because he has to go to Arizona tomorrow actually for training. Big Bear goes in kind of with my obsession of the week is Christmas time. It felt so magical. There was Christmas trees, everything was decorated. We had hot chocolate. We watched all the Disney reruns of Christmas episodes. We watched a bunch of Christmas movies. We actually watched a ton of Hannah Montana too, which was adorable because I didn't know Max watched Hannah Montana growing up. Other things we did, we made gingerbread men and gingerbread house. I actually found a kit from Sprouts that was gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, dye-free, nut-free, sugar. I don't know, it had sugar in it, but I think it was added sugar-free. Every health concern, allergy you could possibly think, this thing was ready for you, which was great because if you don't know, I'm gluten-free. I can never eat like the gingerbread house or the gingerbread men. So we made a gingerbread house from scratch. So we made the dough. It came with like dough, but we had to add all the ingredients. We had to roll it out. We had to shape it, and then we baked it, let it rest, decorate it, and then built it. It looked so bad, but we made it from scratch, so it felt so much more rewarding than one that's already pre-made for you. And we had a ton of leftover dough, so I made one cookie not a ton of leftover dough, but I made myself one cookie, and I ate it fresh out of the oven, and it was so yummy because I can never have the gingerbread dough or whatever. It was really, really good. And then that night, I ended up eating a part of the house, and you never eat the house, but it was actually very delicious. We went about the town, we cooked a lot, and we made a lot of fires. So it was just such a sweet moment because he's going to Arizona for only 2 weeks. It was a nice quality time for us, and we played Monopoly. So those were the things that we did. My dislike of this week, I have been so bloated recently. The first night we get to Big Bear, Max is like, whoa, why are you so bloated? And like, he never comments on how I look like that, but it was so obvious. I think it's because we had Mexican food, and one, I don't usually eat out a ton, and then two, I never eat Mexican food. So I was so bloated, uncomfortably bloated. It was just like that the entire week. So I don't know what it was. We only ate out twice, but really I was so bloated. Maybe I was just out of routine, or I'm going to start my period soon, but it was so uncomfortable. And I even took like my deep bloat pills, and I was doing all the teas, and I was doing my sauna blanket. So I was kind of doing everything right, but I think my body was just out of the loop, I still haven't had my phone, so it's been a week and a half since not having my phone. I'm actually getting it tonight, so I haven't been able to listen to my audiobook. I haven't been able to post on social media. If you're one of my friends, I like put you in a group chat with my brother's number and then my email so I could text people. But I've been kind of disconnected. Very nice, but I really want to get back to posting on social media. That is something I'm trying to prioritize. definitely feel a lot more creative, and I'm excited for all the things that I have accumulated in my brain for when I do get my phone back. And it's gonna be such a nice quality. I'm so excited to get that today. But enough about my jibber jabber life. Let's get into today's episode, because I think this is going into the new year can be very scary for some people, or you make so many goals, so many intentions for yourself, it's hard to maintain them, or it's hard to actually get yourself to do it, or you don't do it at all because it's all so scary. I'm going to share with you some ways to remain the best version of yourself going into the new year and ending out this year. First one is move in silence. Keeping your goals and your intentions private can help you stay focused and really avoid all the unnecessary negativity, distractions that people will tell you. When I was a little kid, I remember always telling everyone what I want to be when I grow up. And I would change my mind all the time. Like at one point I was obsessed with Grey's Anatomy, so I wanted to be a surgeon, specifically a heart surgeon. I remember telling my coach, and she's like, that's not going to work out for you. You're not that smart, or you're not going to get through med school, or you're not a good test taker. Or I wanted to be a vet, or I wanted to be a lawyer. I really liked law, surgeons, detective. I loved all those types of things, a teacher. And every time I told someone, they would always tell me a reason why I couldn't do it. And I'm sitting here 21 years old when I would have been maybe in law school or med school or something, and I never pursued it because I always believed what everybody told me of why I couldn't do it. And as soon as they told me, I was like, oh, okay. And then I believed it, and then I never pursued whatever that was. And I never really tried that hard in school because I was always constantly told that school's not my thing, and maybe school really wasn't my thing. I told myself that as well. But you don't need that unnecessary comments in your life. Moving in silence means keeping your big plans, your goals to yourself until you've made some real progress. It kind of depends. So part of me is like, tell people your goals so that they hold you accountable. I told people I want to start a podcast, and I made it happen. But I guess it depends on who you're talking to. Maybe instead of announcing everything you're up to, you quietly work on it in the background. This approach will help you avoid distractions and you really stay focused. When you don't share every single detail of your plan, you can really concentrate on what you're working on without worrying about what others might think or say. Maybe this is more for like the general public, not necessarily like your mom or your friends. Moving in silence is letting yourself gain all those actionable goals rather than constantly talking about what you're going to do and never actually accomplishing it. You're also building a sense of anticipation for yourself. When you finally share your achievements with other people, you're going to have a much larger impact because they didn't see every step of your journey. Okay, so when you look at social media, people love to follow people where they have a before and after of whether if it's a weight loss journey or maybe it's a mental health goal journey. People love to see the before and after. They don't really like to follow along your journey as much as ask how you did it afterwards, because they can't really see your end result and then maybe they don't believe you or they don't really care. People love to see the before and after. So when you keep quiet, it's sort of like a surprise to everyone. They can really appreciate because they weren't expecting it. So moving in silence is about doing your thing, whatever that is, quietly and letting your actions speak louder and clear when the time is right. Second, take care of your mind, body, and soul. Taking care of all three of these is giving yourself the best self-love there is. It's not just about your physical health. It's a very whole person approach. If one of these is out of balance, your whole body will pretty much be out of balance. So for your mind, that involves really taking care of your mental health. We talk about mental health all the time, but it's because it's so prevalent of people not having good mental health. So try to do activities that bring you joy. Practice mindfulness, meditation, something to really calm your nervous system, but also you can maybe try something that will challenge yourself intellectually. So I really like to read. Maybe you want to learn a new language, or you're going to school, like I'm going to health coaching class right now, or maybe you just love to do puzzles with your roommates. Something that will contribute to a healthy mind. And also this will prevent things like Alzheimer's, dementia, if you're really using your brain every single day. The second one is obviously your body. So your physical health is always crucial. We want to eat nourishing foods, stay hydrated, and exercise. Exercise every day. You can find any form of exercise you enjoy, whether it's walking, dancing, going to the gym. Taking care of your body not only keeps you in shape, but it also positively will impact your mental health. So they go together. And third for that will be your soul. The soul represents your inner self. Take time for the activities that really feed your soul, things that make you happy, bring you peace, make you connect with a deeper sense of purpose. For me, that is spending time in nature, going to the ocean, listening to the waves. I like to practice gratitude every night. I am not the best at it, but definitely makes me feel grounded. Or spending time in your community or with people that you love. Remember, it's the combination of these aspects that create a balanced life. When your mind, body, and soul are in sync, you're better equipped to navigate anything that's thrown at you, and you can really enjoy the good moments of life. Next, be picky about who you let around you. Be selective. Keep the ones who treat you well, make you happy, and support you. You are who you surround yourself with. When you look at your friends, do you want to be them? Are they at a place in their life that you want to be? It's not necessarily up-leveling, like you always need people who you want to be as successful as them or have as many friends as them. Like, we're not talking about that. It's like, are they a kind person? Are they generous? Are they fun? Do they have similar interests and values and morals as you? There's multiple types of friends. There's friends you've been friends with since you were a little kid and you're mainly friends off memories and values. There's friends you met in college where they're super fun, you love to go out together, or they've been with you all through the thick and thin. You're bonded in that way. There's a friend that you go to for deep talks. There's a friend that you go to for business stuff or finance stuff. Your friends don't need to be every type of friend for you. You can have a specific friend for each category, which is something I've recently learned. Even if they're just your going out friend, are they fun to go out with? Do they make you feel bad at the end of the day? Do they pressure you to go out? It doesn't matter what type of friend, if they're a going out friend or if they're coffee the next morning with you. But look at how they make you feel and how valued they make you feel and how you also feel when you're with them. Okay, another thing about be picky about who you surround yourself with. I've realized that who you surround yourself with will also determine how much money you spend. When I would hang out with a certain group of people who loved to shop, who were always on Pinterest, maybe it wasn't even their own personal money, maybe it was more of their parents' money, so they spent a little bit more money than I would have. When I did my finances from hanging out with these people, from not hanging out with these people, I realized a drastic increase and decrease in my non-essential spending. This is like kind of random, but if you're trying to save money, look at who you're surrounding yourself with. Are you guys constantly going to the mall? Are you constantly talking about the newest item that's out or something on your wish list? That will perpetuate the idea of constantly adding things to your cart. Maybe you're not even spending the money yet, but you're constantly looking at things you want to consume. Good friends also bring positivity into your life. They should make you feel good. They should encourage you and be where you need them to be. If someone does the opposite, it might be worth reconsidering that friendship. I've had friends where I tell them something really good that's happening. Maybe I got a job interview or maybe I'm moving somewhere. They're genuinely not happy for me. You can see it in their body language, in their facial expressions. And if you think of it as, oh, what if they were telling me this? How would you react? And if you would react positively and they're reacting negatively, maybe that's a time to take a step away. Or maybe that's not a person you share good things with. They don't want you to do bad. They're just looking at their own life and probably thinking, why aren't I accomplishing all those things? And that's something really hard, especially if you're the person who's always happy for them, because you're like, why can't you feel that same way from me? You want to keep the best friends around you. It's not about having a lot of friends. It's about having the right ones. One of my goals for this year is to build 1 to 2 really solid friends here in Orange County. And the reason is you want those genuine people who care about you, your life, to be around you. You have to surround yourself with people who add value to your life. And that value can mean anything. Also, just trust how you feel. And when you are with your friends, if you feel happy, supported, and valued, obviously that's a good sign. Your friends should contribute positively to your life. Next, work towards a goal. I think this is very aligned with New Year's coming up because I love to make goals for myself. I already started a huge list and I have accomplished a lot of my goals that I had for myself this year. So think about what you want to accomplish. This can be anything from doing well in school or work to a personal project or maybe a fitness goal. Break your goal into smaller, manageable steps. For example, if you want to get healthier, start with small changes like going for a short walk each day or adding more fruits and veggies to your meals. These small actions add up over time and make reaching your big goal much more achievable. You want to set goals that challenge you enough to make the progress you hope, and you want to challenge yourself in helpful ways and get out of your comfort zone in order to grow. At the same time, it's helpful to take small steps. Taking this approach increases the chance that you'll actually stick with whatever you're trying to do. And if you go from no exercise to 2 hours of intense activity every single day, you'll probably burn out very quickly. However, if you're adding in 10 minutes of movement a day, might seem like nothing, but you're much more likely to do it. When I was trying to cut back from over-exercising, but also still trying to move my body in a mindful way, I would work out for 30 minutes a day, no matter what it was. It could be a core workout, it could be a dancing video, anything it was. 30 minutes a day, I just set myself that goal. And then as time went on, I would add 10 minutes to that. So maybe I did 30 minutes for a few months, and then now I did 40 minutes, and then I did 50 minutes. But now I just try to move my body in general. From there, you can slowly add more time and intensity or whatever it is that works for you. Smaller goals are easier to reach, and every success will actually inspire you for more success. It will inspire you to keep reaching your long-term goal. When you feel empowered, you'll have more mental and emotional fuel to keep going and challenging yourself. Consistency is so important. It's not about doing everything at once, but it's about making small efforts regularly. This is why so many people tell you to not do the 15-step morning routine. You're just gonna burn yourself out already in the morning or get stressed out that you have a 15 long to-do list. When you have a small morning routine, for example, it'll make the journey a lot more manageable. It'll help you form small habits that will contribute to your overall success. My goal this year was to read 36 books. I didn't end up reading 36 books. Let's say you've never read a book in your life. That would make no sense to have that many books on your to-do list or on your goal. When I first started reading, I would read maybe one book. I read one book a month-ish for work. The next year when I finally got into reading, I said I would read one book a month for a whole year. So 12 books that year. I ended up reading, I think, 30 books that year. I was just on a kick when I was in Europe. And so then this year, I was like, okay, I want to read 36 books. So that's 3 books a month. And that was a little bit of a reach for myself. I actually did not reach it, but I still got very far. You have to slowly increase your goal for the end time goal. And maybe that's breaking it up for what are you going to do this week? Or what are you going to do this month? And how does that compound over the months to the end of the year? You have to show up for yourself. Commit to your goals. Show up for yourself, even on the days where you might not feel like it. Consistency and dedication to your long-term goal will bring you closer for whatever you're aiming for, and it'll also build trust with yourself so you believe that you can do it. Decide and enforce your boundaries. Establishing boundaries means recognizing your limits and communicating them to others. It's about understanding what is acceptable to you and what isn't, making sure that you're creating that line. For instance, if you find that certain behaviors or activities make you uncomfortable, it's so important that you communicate that to whoever is involved. That can mean saying no to an extra task at work when you're already overloaded, or expressing your need for alone time with a partner. Boundaries is something that's so hard to actually maintain. I remember talking to my therapist and being like, what other boundaries can I create with this friendship because I'm so drained? And she was like, Shelby, you do have boundaries. You just let her walk all over them, or you don't actually tell her. You're like, okay, it's fine this time. You're the only person that can uphold a boundary. You have to respect your own boundaries. It's equally important to enforce whatever boundary that you created for yourself, but if you don't take your boundaries seriously, other people won't either. So for myself, I created them, but I didn't actually enforce any of them. By constantly telling people what you're comfortable with, you're creating an environment of respect so that you don't feel drained or so that your mental health isn't compromised. I think the best thing I ever did was create boundaries and actually stick to them. It was very hard to do. I lost a few friendships in the making, but you know what? It was worth it. I look back and I'm like, why didn't I do that sooner? And I think it would have saved me a lot of tears and hurt if I started it from the beginning, because sometimes it is a lot harder to do it when you already set a tone. Actions speak louder than words. This kind of goes in with the move in silence. It also is highlighting the importance of what people do rather than what they say. I think this one more has to do with other people than necessarily yourself, but it can also apply to yourself. You're emphasizing the significance of tangible behaviors and what someone is doing versus all the sweet words they tell you that they're going to do. In your life, this principle suggests that instead of just talking about your goals, your dreams, or your intentions, you're actively working towards them. You're encouraging yourself to focus on concrete steps and accomplishments rather than verbal expressions or feelings or even manifestations. Like, go out and actually do the thing you want to do. And by doing so, you're going to create real progress, demonstrate your commitment to your aspirations. That's it for that one. Next, focus on what you're doing now. Don't look too much into the past and the future. Focus on what you're doing now means paying attention to the present moment without getting overly caught up in the past or the future. You're being fully engaged at what is happening in your life now. I am such a sucker for looking into the future. I look so much into the future that I forget what's happening now in my life that is so exciting, that I've always wanted to have or wished to happen to me. The more I look into the future, the less I'm living. In everyday terms, this could involve avoiding excess worrying about what might happen in the future or dwelling about what happened in the past. I know so many people get anxiety the night they go out or the morning after they go out. They have so much anxiety about what they did in the night prior. And to me, sometimes, yes, I do get that, but another part of me is like, it already happened. I can't do anything to change it. As much as it sucks and as much as I would change the past sometimes, I literally can't. So sometimes I just have to get over it. This encourages you to be mindful and to be present in all the tasks you have right now. You're going to enhance your effectiveness. You're going to reduce your stress, reduce your anxiety. You're going to have better results because you're only focusing at the present moment. Second to last one, you're going to learn how to use your traits and your skills effectively. I want you to write down 3 of your largest strengths, talents, or unique qualities that nobody else has, and then apply them in a way that aligns with your goals and aspirations. So maybe for the longest time, you have wanted to be a math teacher, but you actually are really good at science. Why are you pursuing math so hard when science has always come easier to you? When I was doing my ACT to get into college, I was really good at math and English, and I wasn't that good at science. Instead of focusing on getting my science score higher, they actually focused on what I was good at already and made it better. In simpler terms, you have to figure out what you are good at. If you're great at communicating, maybe you find a career or an activity that involves communicating. So having a podcast, being a public speaker, being a teacher, that approach helps you capitalize on what you're inherently good at and will ultimately lead you to a more successful life because you most likely will like doing it. So if you're great with kids, maybe you become a mom, a teacher, a professor, a pediatrician. Find what you love and you're good at and try to use that to make money because it won't be as hard for you. Last one. Tell yourself positive affirmations. Speaking to yourself kindly will boost your self-confidence. Probably my worst trait of myself is I am not nice to myself. I talk so poorly to myself, and I always try to tell people not to do that because I see the impact it makes. I need to get better at affirmations. I 100% do. There's an app called I Am that I do, and it gives me an affirmation almost every hour. Positive affirmations is consciously expressing constructive thoughts about yourself. Instead of letting negative thoughts dominate your mind, affirmations help shift your focus to uplifting statements. Something my sister told me was every time, let's say her husband says something mean, like, your hair looks terrible, she makes him say 3 nice things about her. And I try to do this with myself. I try to do this with my own boyfriend. I try to do this with other people when I hear them talking negatively about themselves. I'm like, say 3 nice things about yourself. Because the 3 will outweigh the 1. So maybe you like to stand in front of the mirror and say things like, I am capable, I am valuable, I can overcome challenges. Or maybe you just like to journal and you write in your journal 3 I am statements. I'm trying to do the I deserve money I deserve money because I love myself, I am beautiful, I am intelligent. This practice isn't about pretending. It's about training your mind to acknowledge and believe in the positive qualities of yourself. And soon enough, they will become your reality. So you're always affirming, planting these little seeds in your brain of confidence. And as time goes on, you might observe an improvement in your self-perception and your ability to have self-confidence. It's a straightforward but very impactful method for you to positively influence the way you see yourself and the people around you. My favorite affirmations for myself is I am good enough, I am intelligent, I deserve money, because I love myself, I love money. I'm reading a book about money and becoming financially free and being successful, so there's a lot of money affirmations in there. I'm beautiful, my body is perfect just the way it is. I definitely need to get back into affirmations. I think self-love is a very hard concept to grasp, and I think affirmations is a very small step to get yourself to loving yourself. All of these were ways to remain the best version of yourself going into the new year, and you can break all of those down into smaller habits, smaller steps to ultimately get that result. I hope that this new year is not overwhelming to you. I hope that you can take 1 to 2, 3 intentions for yourself going into 2024. Be excited. Be excited for who you're going to become. Appreciate where you are at this moment, but then know there's so much good for you coming. That concludes, wow, this is a really short episode. That concludes the end of this episode. I wanted to keep it nice and short and sweet. Please follow the pod on all the social medias and rate the show. Message me if you have any recommendations for new episodes or if you have any questions. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. Bye.